This is Marta Belcher once again on a year of storing humanity's most important information. Marta, thank you for your patience. You're up.
Terrific. Thank you so much for the multiple introductions. I'm Marta Belcher, and I'm so excited to be here today to talk about all the work of the foundation in the year since Mainnet launch. So of course, I'm here virtually, and I think in 2021, it's really easy to take for granted that we can be virtually present in every corner of the globe. And I think it's easy to forget that the internet is actually quite fragile. But a few weeks ago, we had a pretty jarring reminder. As I'm sure we're all well aware, on October 4th, Facebook experienced an outage. So for 5 hours, Facebook was completely inaccessible to the 3.5 billion people across the world who depend on it for communication and business. And it wasn't just Facebook. Everything that relies on it was paralyzed. Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger. Millions of people use Facebook to sign into other apps and websites. Even Facebook employees were literally locked out of their buildings. Their digital badges stopped working and they couldn't communicate internally. Now, it's kind of funny to imagine Facebook employees being unable to open doors with their badges, but it's not so funny to think about a person whose livelihood depends on that system losing an entire day of income. And it's also a stark reminder of how much of our lives we experience through just a handful of corporations and the problem with single points of failure. And the next day, when the most recent Facebook whistleblower testified in Congress, we also got a stark reminder of what it means to have no choice but to trust those corporations, to trust them not to misuse troves of data about us, what we do online, who we talk to, what we click on, or what we say, to trust them to keep that data safe from attackers and to protect our civil liberties when responding to requests from governments, and what it means for those corporations to be fallible. The problem is today's internet is centralized. The vast majority of data making up the many websites we use every day sit in data warehouses owned by just 3 companies: Amazon Web Services, Microsoft, and Google Cloud. We have repeatedly seen these companies suffer blackouts and vast swaths of the web go down for hours, including websites that are massive contributors to the economy. That's the problem with having single points of failure. We believe that you can create a better version of the web if you combine the storage capacity and computing power on all of our individual devices into a supercomputer-like network and store multiple copies of data across those devices. On this decentralized version of the internet, websites will stay up even if some nodes fail, and critically, the availability of information is not dependent on any one server or one person or one company. This provides a much more robust platform for humanity's most important information. And Filecoin provides the incentives for people to contribute storage to that decentralized internet. And this year, we have been just blown away by how well those incentives work. During Filecoin's first year, 3,300 Filecoin storage providers have contributed nearly 12 exabytes of storage capacity. So to put that in perspective, that could store all of the written works of mankind in all languages from the beginning of recorded history to today, more than 10 times over. And as you'll hear today, that storage space is being used to preserve humanity's most important information. At the Filecoin Foundation, our mission is to build the internet of everyone, to place control of humanity's most important information into everyone's hands. In short, the Filecoin Foundation is the steward of the Filecoin community. In 2017, the creators of Filecoin envisioned that an independent Filecoin Foundation would serve as the long-term governance body for the Filecoin ecosystem. They gave the foundation a mandate to grow an open ecosystem for decentralized storage and to give developers an open and sustainable platform to build, enhance, and monetize those services. They wanted the foundation to be modeled on foundations for other open source projects like the Apache Software Foundation, the Mozilla Foundation, and the Linux Foundation. And today, the Filecoin Foundation is an independent organization on a mission to accelerate the growth of Filecoin to create a decentralized, efficient, and robust foundation for humanity's information. The Filecoin Foundation also has a sister charitable organization, the Filecoin Foundation for the Decentralized Web. FFDW focuses on the broader decentralized web ecosystem and funds the development of open source tools that will be the backbone of tomorrow's decentralized web. So while the Filecoin Foundation focuses on building and supporting the Filecoin community, accelerating the growth of the Filecoin ecosystem, facilitating community-driven governance, and funding Filecoin-related R&D, the FFDW focuses on building and supporting the DWeb community, education about Filecoin and the decentralized web, storing public interest data sets, and funding DWeb research and development. And that doesn't just mean supporting exciting new projects and features, it also means consistently funding infrastructure, upgrades, and security on existing projects. And it means educating the wider public about the importance of the decentralized web. We want people to understand how the centralized internet they depend on can be single points of failure and can undermine privacy and free expression. And we want people to understand how decentralizing the web can preserve the knowledge that's most important to our history, our present, and our future. So these are ambitious missions, and I want to start by telling you about the teams that have been working tirelessly to make our vision a reality. These two organizations have incredible boards of directors, and I have the privilege of being on both boards. Our Filecoin Foundation board also includes Marcia Hoffman, a renowned electronic privacy attorney, Nicole Wong, the former Deputy Chief Technology Officer of the United States under Obama, and Brian Behlendorf, the co-founder of the Apache Web Server Project, and until recently, the Executive Director of Hyperledger. And the FFDW board also includes Rainey Reitman, a prominent digital rights activist, and Kristen Smith, the Executive Director of the Blockchain Association. We also have an incredible group of advisors. It's hard to summarize all their accomplishments, but Joe Lubin is the co-founder of Ethereum, Katie Biber, former General Counsel of Anchorage, Georgia Quinn, General Counsel of Anchorage and former GC of CoinList, Sandra Rowe, the CEO of the Global Blockchain Business Council, Alex Fierst, an expert in content policy, Brewster Kale, founder of the Internet Archive, Wendy Hanamura, Director of Partnerships for the Internet Archive, and finally, Sheila Warren, who's head of blockchain and data policy for the World Economic Forum. And we have an incredible staff now of more than 20 full-time people. I wish I had time to tell you about all of them, but let me tell you about at least a few. Clara Sao was recently the co-founder and a board member of the Trust and Safety Professional Association. She was a White House Presidential Innovation Fellow and Executive Director of the U.S. Congressional App Challenge. Megan Kleiman was the co-founder and Chief Operating Officer of 3Scan. Danny O'Brien recently joined the foundation from the Electronic Frontier Foundation. Rachel Horn is the foundation's head of comms after joining us from Protocol Labs. And Aaron Stanley recently joined us from CoinDesk, where he used to run events like Consensus. So our boards, our advisors, and our incredible staff are working every day to expand and strengthen the Filecoin ecosystem. So I'd like to share some of the programs we support and describe the impact that we've had in this first year since Mainnet launch. So the foundation oversees major grants and partnerships to reward value, inspire contributors, and seed the creation of new projects and tools that are using Filecoin. For the developer community, the foundation's Dev Grant program has awarded more than 100 grants through this program alone for app development, developer tools, research, and community events. These efforts have helped contribute towards the Filecoin ecosystem growth of more than 20 to 30 grants per month. We're also supporting larger projects that use Filecoin to address a variety of needs. And for example, the foundation funds 2 of the implementations of Filecoin built by Sormitsu and ChainSafe. We share RFPs with the broader Web3 community and have gotten an overwhelming response. We've been able to award grants for the development of solutions like consensus visualization tools, wallets, mining tools, block explorers, and more. The Filecoin Foundation also awards microgrants that bridge the gap between the need for large-scale funding and the efficiency of one-off bounty projects. These are perfect for social science researchers, developers, engineers, data scientists, or anyone interested in the Web3 or crypto to apply their skill sets to projects in the Filecoin ecosystem. We also collaborate with ecosystem partners to develop tools that combine Filecoin's decentralized storage and other network capabilities. So for example, we've run a joint grant and hackathon program with partners like Hedera, IPFS Force, Chainlink, Near, and others. And in the last year, the foundation has supported nearly a dozen hackathons, helping the ecosystem reach over 10,000 developers this year. And the Filecoin Foundation for the Decentralized Web also administers community grants and programs for the larger decentralized web community to accelerate the adoption of open decentralized technologies and build communities that are supporting Web3 and particularly bringing it to wider audiences. So here's just a peek at some of the projects we funded to date. The Starling Lab is a project of Stanford and USC that uses the Filecoin network to permanently preserve the USC Shoah Foundation's archive of 55,000 video testimonies of genocide survivors to ensure that their stories can never be forgotten, altered, or lost. Starling is also developing a framework to securely capture, store, and verify historical records and creating methods to establish trust in decentralized records. This is a hugely important project that's supported by a long-term multi-year commitment of funding from FFDW. Last month, the FFDW also awarded a 3-year grant to the Freedom of the Press Foundation. This grant will be used to explore a decentralized architecture for SecureDrop, an open source news and information system used in newsrooms worldwide for secure document exchange and to preserve the Freedom of the Press Foundation's valuable data sets on the Filecoin network. So that would include, for example, the Press Freedom Tracker, which includes extensive documentation of press freedom violations, and the FPF's Threatened Media Outlets Archive, which includes backup versions of news websites that have been lost. FPF will also be using that grant to create state-of-the-art privacy-preserving tools within the decentralized web ecosystem. In April 2021, the Filecoin Foundation announced a donation to the Internet Archive to advance the mission of both organizations to preserve humanity's most important information and improve access to information online. So the Internet Archive is using those funds to store films and audio and books from the archive on the Filecoin network. The Filecoin Foundation also supports Filecoin's storage provider community. So the thousands of groups and individuals who are around the world lending storage capacity to the network. In June, we launched the Filecoin Storage Provider Working Group, which is a voluntary, community-driven working group that brings together Filecoin storage providers of all sizes to improve the storage experience. The group provides resources and education to bridge the gaps between Filecoin storage providers, developers, and the broader community across the globe. And in July, we launched the Storage Provider Incubation Center in collaboration with the Venus team. The center provides financial support and education resources to smaller miners around the world working with the Venus implementation of Filecoin. And in September, we launched the Storage Provider Bounty Board, a tool for crowdsourcing work requests. So you've also probably noticed a theme across all of these programs, and that theme is really community. So as an open source project, it's vital that Filecoin has transparent, community-driven governance. And the Filecoin Foundation facilitates that governance process, the Filecoin Improvement Proposals, or FIPS process. So any community member can propose changes to the Filecoin network, and the whole community can discuss network upgrades and adopt changes via the FIPS process. So this process is based on the Ethereum Improvement Proposals process, the Bitcoin Improvement Proposals process, and the Python Enhancement Proposals process. The foundation also supports Filecoin Plus, which is a program that maximizes the amount of useful storage on Filecoin by adding a layer of social trust to the network. In May, we brought together over 100 project architects, Filecoin Plus users, crypto econ experts, and storage providers at the first ever Filecoin Plus Day. In June, this community held its second set of notary elections and agreed to changes in the requirements for notaries in North America, Europe, and China. And other exciting projects under the helm of the foundation include the Security Bug Bounty Program, which rewards individuals who find and report vulnerabilities, and the Emergency Response Program to respond quickly to any security incidents. So if you take one thing away today, I hope it's this. Everything we do at the foundation and the FFDW is in service of a single goal, which is building the Filecoin and decentralized web communities. Every project we take on, every grant we award, every event we host is really designed to support the thousands of Filecoin developers, technologists, and users all over the world. So we hope you'll join us. There are so many ways that you can get involved, from attending our events and hackathons, submitting dev grant proposals, proposing a FIP, diving into our code base, contributing to a project, or applying for one of our many open positions, or just reach out. I think I can speak for everyone at the foundation and at FFDW in saying that we are absolutely honored to be part of this mission to build the decentralized web. And we are really looking forward to another trip around the sun with all of you. So thank you so much.